Welcome to the Pulse Neighbors. I'm Julius Clark, your local Indianapolis Realtor, and today I am joined here with one of my Roots coworkers, Trent Kiester. Trent, how about you go ahead and introduce yourself? Who are you, man?
Yeah, hi everybody. Very excited to be here, so thank you for having me. I've always wanted to do a podcast, so this is a really cool setting. I'm super excited to be here. But yeah, my name is Trent. I started as a broker with Roots a couple of months ago, so it's been going good. I've been enjoying it. Before I became a broker with Roots, I was in the investment space a little bit, but I'm still pretty young, so I was just getting my feet wet before I became a broker. But I have been going to college for the last couple of years, kind of got introduced to investment real estate during my second year of college, and so those have kind of been the two things that I've been doing, and yeah, it's kind of just a little bit about me.
You're new in this space, so we're going to be talking mostly about stuff before you got to real estate, so I'll start there. Let's go to college. Where'd you go? What'd you study? And what was your biggest takeaway from going to college?
That's a great question. So I originally started off my college career at IU Bloomington, in person, doing that whole gig, which is what everybody wanted to do coming out of high school, at least my friend group and most of the people that I was around. So I think just as a byproduct of the people around me and what I was being told, it seemed like the right decision, so it's the one I made. So I went to Bloomington straight out of high school, and I wanted to study finance, and I wanted to go to Cali and do the business school thing. So so we did that for a year, and quickly realized that wasn't probably going to be the best route for me. It just was nothing that I was interested in. I found myself just like not knowing what to do most of the time. I was like, I just don't care about any of this. So got really bad grades that year. Didn't do a whole lot besides party and drink and cheat on all my finance exams. So
that's not IU, man.
Yeah, right. So anyways, I made the switch my second year to an economics degree, which I also hated. I think I probably hated that more than the finance degree,
Still at
to be
IU at
honest.
this point?
Yeah, still at Bloomington. So switched to economics. That was also not up my alley. So got really bad grades again. Wasn't really enjoying myself very much outside of what we were doing at after school hours, which was a good time. But I wasn't really getting a whole lot out of the experience, at least what I thought I was going to get out of it. So I made the decision during my third year to move back home and get a job and start saving up money. And at that point, I had made my mind up that I wanted to do a house hack and buy my first property. So I moved back to Brownsburg with my parents and started doing online school, which I'm actually still doing. I'm finishing that up this semester, so I'll be done finally. But yeah, moved back home, started working, did the school thing, just pretty much on the side, really, online. I
feel like that's something that's trending. My girlfriend's currently doing that, and I think the pandemic kind of sparked it for sure. Like everybody's classes were online. Why wouldn't you just go to a cheaper online university?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was also one of those things where it did provide me a lot of flexibility in the sense that I didn't have to be at class at a certain time, right? So like I could just do it whenever I wanted to. If I wanted to wait and do everything on Sunday, I could do that. There wasn't, it wasn't like a big commitment at that point for me.
I'll tell you, I never did more travel. I've never done more traveling than that like first semester in COVID, because classes, every week I was somewhere.
Yeah.
In hindsight, I do feel guilty about that, traveling during COVID. Me and my friends, we got called slaves to society in, I want to say it was Iowa, while we were on our road trip because we were wearing our masks. Bro, we were just in Seattle 2 days ago. I think you want us to wear our mask.
Yeah.
In that scenario, at least. But yeah, you also mentioned in there that you decided to get started in real estate via house hack. Could you give us some details on that? What type of property was it? And can you go into some of the purchasing details?
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, the jump from going from being a college student, just completely broke, having no sense of how to invest in anything, not just real estate, was a really big shift in mindset for me.
Yeah.
So whenever I talk about like the first investment, I always like to talk about the mindset shift because it was more important than anything else. It was more important than knowing how to do it, finding the money, finding the mentors, any of that stuff. So I think that was probably the biggest change for me, was that when I left IU and I came home, I made the switch in my mind that it was going to happen, and there was no way that it was not going to happen, regardless of what anybody else around me was saying. And I think a lot of kids in college who, maybe have parents or friends who have been brought up under a certain ideology, kind of that poor dad mindset that we always talk about. It's very tough to make that mindset shift because there's so many voices telling you that you shouldn't. So that was the biggest hurdle for me, was just making the shift and saying, I don't actually care about what anybody else thinks at this point. I'm just going to do it, and we're just going to see how it goes. So once I made that shift, all the pieces kind of fell into place. So like I said, moved back home, got a job at Back Nine Golf and Entertainment downtown as a bar back. Actually really enjoyed that, working behind the bar. It was a great time. So I saved up money doing that, hopped on Bigger Pockets, and I met Tyler through Bigger Pockets. Oh, wow. So he was my agent. He helped me buy that property. So I hit him up one day, and I was like, I'm only looking to spend $120,000, and I know I'm probably not your most ideal client, but I'd love to work with you. And I saw that he was big on Bigger Pockets. I knew that he knew what he was talking about. So I decided to go with Tyler, and it was fun. It was also very daunting and scary because I'm getting ready to spend every dime that I just saved up for the last year, and I don't know really what I'm doing at this point. So, and Tyler and I talked about this actually a couple weeks ago. I probably relied on him a little bit too much during that process.
Your realtors for though.
Yeah, I know, but it was one of those things where like I directed every piece of my attention and like all the detail to Tyler, when in reality I probably should have just educated myself a little bit more.
Hey, that shout out to Tyler though.
Yeah, no, for sure.
$120K property, like he's not getting paid a whole bunch. Yeah. He's willing to do that for you.
And I told him that I was like, I feel bad, dude. Like this was like, we were a couple months in and I hadn't found anything yet. I was like, I kind of feel bad, man. Like, I'm sorry that I'm like making you do all these things for me, but he knew it was important to me, and I think he saw the vision I had, and he was excited for me, so he helped me do it. But anyways, to get to the actual investment itself, we found it was a 2-2 on the north side in Riverside, a neighborhood that is historically known to not be the greatest. But I bought on the very like southern side of that neighborhood, and if you've been in Riverside, you know that it's very street by street. There's so many developments going on over there. There's new builds left and right, so you just have to know kind of the right street to buy on in Riverside, and I think I was able to find a really good street. So we bought a 2-2, spent $120,000 on the purchase, which was too much, by the way. It was probably not worth $120,000, but I was like, I just got to get my hands on something. And a big piece of it for me was I wanted something that I could add value to. I knew that was a really big thing for me, is I wanted to be able to immediately add value to the property. So we bought something that needed pretty much everything, with the exception of like foundation. Like the foundation was fine. Like all the actual the house was built fine, but literally every other piece of the property needed to be redone. So I had to redo the flooring, the paint. I did new stainless steel appliances throughout. I'm going to have to do a new roof. I did brand new HVAC, new furnace, new heat pump outside. I still have to do the roof, like I said. But anyways, it was just a full kind of like rehab for me at the time. Yeah. And so I spent the first couple of months with my dad and one of my contractors, Angel, and the three of us just kind of attacked everything for the first couple of months and got it into a spot where it was kind of ready to be rented out. So,
man, how old were you when?
20.
So you were 20.
I'm 21. I was 20 when I bought it. Yeah.
How were you able to finance this property?
FHA.
Okay. Yeah. You had work experience to show them?
No. Thank you for bringing that up. So my dad co-signed for me on that one. Yeah, because I was a bar back at the time.
Yeah, that's
I wasn't making a whole lot of money. Yeah,
I was like, I'm trying to buy a house and I can't because I don't have work experience and stuff to show. So how did he? All right. So what about the rehab? Did he help you out there too?
No. So as far as the money went, every dime I've put into that property, it was mine. So he didn't help me financially there. He absolutely helped me in actually getting the work done. So we were there painting cabinets and taking off doors and doing all that stuff. So yeah, he was very helpful.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Does he have interest in real estate as well?
Not at all.
You just got him?
Yeah, not at all. It's one of those things where like he knew like the change that I made to make that happen was like unheard of for me, like at that time. So he knew full well that it was like there was no way I was not going to do it. So he may as well just help me at that point because it didn't cost him anything. So he was like, if my son's going to do it, I may as well just help him on the journey. So I think he kind of gave in at some point.
Yeah, that's awesome. He was able to help you out for there. Well, let's talk about the rehab. How much? I mean, you said you financed it, but that doesn't sound easy at 20, man.
No, not at all. So let's see. I bought the house for 120. You want me to break down like the figures for you? That way people can actually like kind of know a little bit if they haven't done it before. So first of all, I went into this thinking I was going to spend 10 grand and have it done, and it was going to be good to go, right? So first of all, I get in about a month after I buy it. AC unit gone.
It was
just done.
Did somebody take it?
No. Okay, it just completely took a shit.
You never know.
Yeah, somebody did steal my lawnmower though. A couple months after that, out of my backyard. So, but so yeah, I came in thinking I was going to spend about 10 grand. That was not the case. So first of all, I had to do new flooring. So I buy everything.
Hold on. What was Tyler telling you the rehab was going to be like?
So at the time, we budgeted like 10 to 12.
Yeah.
That was low. But we didn't actually have like a contractor come in there and give us a quote. It was just like we walked the property once. We looked at it. It was like, okay, it's going to cost you 10 to 12 to get it done.
I was just curious because like when we're going to get back to the numbers and everything, I was just curious because like I've been in one situation. It sucks when it happens. Like, but as the realtor, like you're telling them rehab's going to be this, and then they get the property and rehab's not that. How did you feel about that towards Tyler? I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really feel any type of way. It was one of those things where it was like, I'm making the decision at the end of the day. Like, sure, he's my advisor, right? And he's supposed to be helping me. And I think he did to the best of his ability. But at the end of the day, it's like, I need to be the one who knows exactly what I need to do to that property. Like, I am the judge and the jury there. So I didn't feel any type of way, especially in the beginning, because a lot of this stuff didn't come to fruition for a couple months. Like, I didn't know the AC unit was going to go out. I didn't know about some of that stuff. So, but anyways, to get back to the actual repairs. So the flooring, but I budgeted like $2 a square foot for the material and $2 a square foot for the labor, which actually turned out to be pretty much spot on.
I think I have it was $450 or something.
Yeah. Especially if you know where to go to get materials. By the way, for anybody who's looking to purchase their first house hack or like value add, for the love of God, do not go to Home Depot and Lowe's unless you absolutely have to.
Unless you're a veteran and get their discount.
Yeah. Yes. Sherwin-Williams like is great for paint. Like I wouldn't go like
I go to Lowe's for paint. It's okay. I'll get like small individual stuff, but if I was doing like a large rent out, not a chance. But if I need a hose clamp, I'm gonna go to Lowe's.
So yeah, don't go to Lowe's or Home Depot if you're getting flooring, paint, appliances, like doors, like anything. Do not go to Home Depot or Lowe's unless you have to. Can I give a shout out to a place that I think would help a lot of people or no?
Is it a flooring store?
It's called a flooring store, but they have every single thing, and you probably know what I'm talking about.
Before you do that, I just have to shout out the guest I had on yesterday, Phil Nelson, Best Flooring. But yes, what's your flooring company?
Well, yeah, I don't have any affiliation with the company or anything, but Jimenez Mr. Discount
I've heard of it,
is the most life-saving store you will ever go to in your life as a real estate investor. Yeah, just absolutely amazing. I think I pay like $1.69 a square foot for the LVP that I got. It was really great, and I got my all my appliances from there too. It was great. But anyways,
I bought my appliances from Habitat for Humanity.
Okay,
it's been pretty well.
I don't think I've ever been there, but I got a lot of recommendations to go there.
I think every county has one. Highly recommend.
Okay,
I live right next to one too, so that helps.
Yeah. No, that's been brought up a lot. But anyways. Back to what we were talking about. So $2 a square foot for the materials, $2 a square foot for the install and the flooring. The paint, I can't even remember how much that costs. What do you usually budget for when you're like doing interior paint?
I mean, if I'm having like a painter do it, it's usually north of $5K.
Okay. Yeah. I want to say that's about what mine costs too. And I think the upstairs of mine is like 1,200 square foot or something really small like that. So I think it was about like 4 or 5K, something like that.
You didn't paint?
No, I didn't. So anyways, we did that. Oh, also, I did an accent wall. So one of my mentors, Ryan, was showing me like pictures. He does rehabs. Like he does like, tens of these. He does like 20, 30 of these a year. But he was showing me pictures of a rehab that he did, and he does like these really cool accent walls with like the wood like beams that go across them and everything. I don't know how to refer to that.
The wood beam.
Okay.
Or
like, do you know what I'm talking about?
Talking about just like beams, support beams?
No.
Headers?
It's like
Trim?
it's like aesthetic, like I don't know. I'll have to show you a picture after the podcast. But anyways, he was showing me like a really cool concept that he did in one of his homes with like this accent wall. So we did a blue accent wall. The rest of it was gray interior walls that look great. Boom, brand spanking new stainless steel appliances. That's another, what would that be? $3.5 grand right there.
Yeah.
So that was that. We painted the kitchen cabinets ourselves, so that was very minimal. But that took a while.
Oh, yeah.
I would never do that ever again. It was terrible.
I mean, yeah, I was trying to do like redoing furniture for a while, and I quickly stopped after I realized how much work it is.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
So my dad helped me with that though, so that was okay. So we did that. Then I had my electrician come in, added a bunch of outlets, redid the whole panel, redid the weather head outside. Boom, that's another $3,000 right off the top. At least it might have been more. So that was another $3 right there. What else am I missing? HVAC, boom. That's another 7.5 right there off the top. Actually, I had to finance that because that happened a couple months in, and I was tapped at that point.
Yeah.
I was just tapped. So
how'd you finance it?
It was like I think I had Peterman come in and do it, so I just financed it through whatever their loan.
They had something.
Yeah. They had some so that was another 7.5. The roof is not done yet. I haven't done the roof. It didn't really need to be done right away. It needs to at some point. Doors, actually just did those last week, so that was another $1,000. Doors,
$250 to $500 a piece, depending.
Yep. I was trying to put those up myself. I'm just gonna have Angel come and do them. I'm like, I don't even want to touch any of this anymore.
It's all everything that happens in a house is so much harder than you think.
Oh my gosh,
I do it
100% right.
I'm a property manager, and I've done so many tasks one time, so many.
I bet.
But it's all the joy in it, man. It's all the joy.
Yeah.
That was a pretty big rehab you had to do.
Yeah.
At 20 years old, you had to find the financing for it. You said earlier you house hacked this?
Yeah. So during the time I was working at Back 9, I was letting everybody know, hey, this is a cool thing I'm doing. Like, I'm going to be looking for a roommate because I'm getting ready to buy a house. So one of the guys that I work with there was like, yeah, my lease is getting ready to come up. Like, I'd love to, live with you if you have a spot. So I did anything I could to get this kid in there. So I did showings with him. I was like taking him through the rehab and shit. Like, I'm going to have this done this week, and here's your room, and this is what I'm doing here and there. And so I was getting him excited about it. And he's paying me like $600 a month or something small like that. But it covers like half. It covers over like half the mortgage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely doable as if you're buying a single family house. A lot of people think you only house hack if you're buying a duplex. But if you know people, you can still do it single family. So
just Craigslist.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to.
I don't know if I'd do
that.
Careful there.
Yeah. Man, that's a journey that you went through. And do you still live there? Or?
I do, yeah. I have to live there for another 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
And so the idea would be just to keep the current tenant in there. If he wants to have one of his roommates or one of his friends move in there with him, he can do that. But in the next couple of years, I really want it to be an Airbnb for me because it is so close to 16 Tech. It's like bikeable to 16 Tech. It's right next to the IUPUI campus. It's in a pretty good area, so.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of improvement that's going on in that Riverside area. If not short term, I think you'll be able to get somebody for a midterm pretty easily. It's a good spot, and midterm's a little less risky in the long end of things anyway. Man, I'm sure Tyler tells you about Airbnb and midterms, but I still just don't. I want a year lease. Yeah, I want it. So we'll see. But you're a fan of the hold strategy. Then you're not going to be selling it.
Oh, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. I think it's just silly, right? Like, unless you're in a bad spot and you need to, I think it's just silly. Like, if you take a look at Indianapolis, like, you see the development, you see the appreciation, you see the rental rate growth. I just don't know why you'd want to sell right now. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Do you have flip clients?
Yeah.
Do you work well with them?
Yeah.
No, it can be because I'm the same way. Like, I'm not a huge fan of flipping. I'm definitely more on the hold side.
I like it as an avenue to be able to hold.
Yeah.
Right. So like if you're using it as an avenue to build, some cash that you have so you can actually invest in, buy things to hold, then it makes sense.
Yeah, I guess I just don't have that like intuition. Like I'm cool with taking risk, but when you're talking financial risk of hundreds of thousands of dollars, it gets me a little turned off. But for me, in my opinion, and everything I've learned about risk, it's important to have a safety net before you take that risk. But then on the other side, they say if you have a net, you're gonna fall. So.
Well,
more power to those folks.
So Max and I were just talking about that today, actually, because he has the same mindset as you, and I have a very different mindset. And maybe that's because of the venture that I've had so far. It's like I've just thrown myself in, and I just haven't really cared about the risk, which probably isn't a good thing.
But it's not even that much. When you hold a property, there's not a terrible amount of risk associated with it compared to flipping.
Yeah. But anyways, we were talking about that today. Max and I were talking about that mindset, and Max is like, because I was telling him, I was like, I want to go to, a private money lender, and I want to say, hey, this is what I do. I work with this team. I help out all these clients. This is what I help them do. Here's some examples of what I've done over the past couple of months.
Yeah.
I'm looking to do that myself. The only thing I don't have to be able to do that right now is cash. I want to work with you. Give me $1 million. I'll go 10x it this year. That's the mindset that I'm in. I just want to go sit down with somebody and say, hey, give me money and I'll go make you a whole lot more with it. Max he is with that mindset, but he is also kind of leaning towards what you're saying, which is I want to have all the cash that I'm being lended as my own before I go and ask somebody for all their money.
Using OPM is a way different life. Using other people's money is way different. And I don't know. Going back to science courses, like going through high school and college, like I want to test out my hypothesis before I run the experiment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, cause you're right. There's potential out there. The risk isn't all that bad, but man, other people's money scares me.
Yeah.
Because have you talked to anybody yet about private money? Like the rates aren't good.
No, I mean, so I'm not going to say any names, but I have a mentor who's paying 20% on the money that he's being lended right now to one of his private money lenders.
That's crazy.
It's insane.
Like, how does he ever get a deal done?
I mean, he buys deep. Like, he just buys deep, I guess.
Is this the same guy that had that Knightstown property?
Yeah, I don't want to get too much into detail.
Okay,
but
I won't say anything more. But, like, when you're exploring other markets, it's different because there's a lot more risk associated with it, but that margin might be there.
Yeah.
But, man, it's exploratory.
For sure. I don't know. I don't think I could ever reasonably pay somebody 20% on their money.
I've heard like 12, 15. I've not heard 20.
Yeah, that's high for sure.
I don't know. I'm thinking about like trying to get into my first house and trying to figure out how it's going to happen. And I've talked to a couple different lenders, but John Dodges was at our event last night. So I was talking to him about it, and it's like, man, I'm not going to be able to get a loan. So I'm looking for, I can't justify buying a primary with private money. There's no way. But I mean, if it worked, but that'd be so hard to get 20% off of a house that I live in. That'd be hard. But man, if I can find something seller financing, it'd be sick. It'd be hard because I still got to come up with the down payment, and seller financing. The down payment's usually a decent chunk. But that's kind of the route that I really want. I want to own a house this year.
Yeah,
that's like the only way I can do it.
Is that kind of just the only like thing right now? Is like you can't do DSCR because of the down payment, or what is it?
Well, you can't do DSCR because you can't do DSCR on a primary.
Oh, so you want it as a primary?
Yeah, I want a primary.
Okay.
I want a place to live.
Understood. I got you. Sorry, I thought you said the opposite.
Well, I think I probably could like use a DSCR and get an investment property, but I want to own a property that I live in before I start investing. I know you don't have to. I don't know how much you've talked to Eli Stoner, but he does a whole bunch of flips and he rents.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a house yet, and he does just fine. But I want the option to sell my house.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's tough. So, like, what are you thinking then?
I think it's going to have to be seller financing, man. There's a chance I'll even have to use private money for the down payment if it's a house, like, say, it's seller financing on something with a down payment. It needs to be, like, $70K. I don't have $70K for a down payment, but I could probably use that private and then refinance if it needs a little bit of value add. It would need a decent bit. I would need to get like probably 15 to 20% value add on it, but it's a possibility. The other thing that I'm looking at, but man, I don't know if my mom listens to this. I might be spilling some beans. Sorry if you're listening, Mom.
Sorry, Mom.
But I'm thinking about building an ADU on my parents' property.
You mentioned that.
Yeah, so my mom's all on board with it. It's just not a good time for my stepdad to discuss it. Family situations. His father had just recently passed away, and his mom was trying to steal his inheritance.
Oh, goodness.
So I'm not going to go ask the man to build me an ADU right now.
Yeah.
But if that gets resolved anytime quickly, it needs to be so quick because my lease is up in June. But that's like option number one for me right now. It wouldn't be owning a house, but it would be improving my parents' property. And I would like that because I plan on buying their property, or at least reaping some of the benefits of when it's sold if I'm living in an ADU on it. So that'd be cool. We build. I did a little bit of the math with it. I don't know if you know Jeremy Portillo, but he's an architect friend in our circle. He reached out, I reached out to him, and he did the research on it to see if it's even allowed with the zoning there. Luckily, we are just. I always knew this, but my parents' house is like literally steps outside of the city limits. So zoning turned out we can do literally whatever. We want to build a mansion, we can build a mansion. We can do whatever we want. And they just got rid of the HOA a few years ago too, so there's no barriers there. My parents, it's not a big backyard. I think they're on like 0.61 acres. But the way it's set up, we already got like a shed and a garden and a chicken coop back there. So we would just make that stuff like our small ADU's backyard, and we put it like right in front of there. Yeah. And then ideally, when my parents need assistance because they're getting older, they can move into the ADU, and I'm in the main house.
You know it.
That'd be perfect. This is a perfect situation, but man, I got to construct an ADU. I got to work out a plan with my parents. I think how it would work is I would just pay them like 20% more than whatever their increased mortgage payment was because they'll likely have to take out a HELOC to do it. They bought the house. I'm trying to explain this to my parents. My stepdad is so anti-renting out properties. He'd rented out one before, and it got trashed. Absolutely trashed. So he's against it, but I'm trying to explain to them, like, hey, you bought this house in 2014 for this amount. And they refinanced a couple of times for a new roof and other improvements. But they still have like $150K in equity in it. And your monthly payment is half of what you could get somebody to rent in this house. You could be making your monthly payment on this house if you put a renter in here. Do you understand? They won't do it. They won't do it.
Yeah.
But that's always an interesting space with. I need to ask more agents about their like real estate relationship with their parents because I think there's interesting stories a lot of the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think and maybe this is like a closed-minded perspective. I don't know. Maybe I just haven't talked to enough people. But the general consensus that I get, and this is definitely my experience too, is that my parents are not by any means against what I do. They just don't understand it and don't necessarily put themselves in a position to try and understand it, which is the frustrating part about it for me.
It's hard. Sometimes I don't understand what the hell I do. It'll be a Wednesday at 2 p.m. and I'm getting coffee with something like, what am I doing? What is this life I'm living?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. But I think just from my experience, that mindset is getting way better with like my parents now because they actually see that I'm not that bad at what I do and they're not as scared for me anymore. I think that's what a lot of it was, is like they see their son taking a risk and they get, afraid and, they want to protect them. Yeah. And that's fair. And I understand that. But I think they're getting to the point now where they're actually seeing that like I do actually kind of know what I'm doing a little bit. And at least I have people around me who can help me and push me in the right direction if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So they're definitely better about it now. And I specifically see it with my dad. He like asks me questions now about what I'm doing, which is like very rewarding. And I love that. But I definitely understand what you're saying. It's like, that's the mindset that I see a lot of times.
Yeah. Real estate and family I'm helping 3 different family members out right now with real estate problems. And it's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Not a family member, but I had an interesting one. Me and my girlfriend's a roommate. I guess my girlfriend's friends as well, but more so his friends. They just got into a situation where they like pseudo bought their house from their mom, but never like transferred the deed or anything like that. So they're trying to come for, like, the mortgage people were trying to come for them because they're They still have homestead on it, but they're technically renters now. So I was helping them out. I think they didn't fill me in on it because I'm not their agent and I'm not getting compensated. So like they didn't give me all the details or anything. But I think they're just like essentially doing sub two. They're getting the yeah, they're assuming it. Yeah, they're assuming it from their mom. Which I technically could have got paid on. Could have said like I brokered the commission and the transaction and everything, but I didn't do that. I just helped some people out. Yeah, that's always interesting. If you are an adult and you have your kids living in a house, you do need to transfer the deed. You can't just have them live there. It doesn't work like that. They're trying to come and like take the house and try to enact a due on sale. Trying to do everything to scare these people out of this house. But it got worked out.
That's good. Yeah. You didn't make anything on it though.
I mean, I texted them 3 times. They were just scared, and I was like, it's going to be okay. Just don't let them intimidate you, and you'll be fine. It is such a daunting, probably, who do you know, like your age, that knows how to buy a house and like knows all the terms and everything that are going into the settlement statement that they're signing, and knows all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's a scary world.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
What's been your highlight of being in the real estate industry so far?
Meeting people, for sure. That's such a cliche answer, even the way I said it was cliche. But it's so true. That was one of the reasons why I hated being at IU, is because I felt like everybody around me was the same person, and I didn't like that person. So I think that's been the best part about real estate, is meeting like-minded people and people that I actually enjoy being around has been the best thing ever. Yeah, definitely the people.
It's a good highlight. Hopefully all that sound from outside isn't coming in here. Sorry if you're listening, and the soundproofing is not very strong.
Yeah, somebody's having a party out there, by the way, right now. I don't know what's happening.
They were having like
They found your Modelo. They found the Modelos.
I bought so many of those last night, and we did not have that many people come to Ravi.
Yeah.
I got a shit ton of beer, though. That was a fun little event that we had on. Mm-hmm. If you are listening and you're looking for real estate events in Indianapolis, every third and out Tuesday, we used to do Thursdays at Refinery 46 from 4:30 to 6 p.m. We host a happy hour where you can bring all of your real estate questions, bring your friends, and we will get them answered for you. So just get to meet people. One of my my biggest property manager, he was before, but I managed 4 of his properties before. I met him at one of our happy hours. It was like 3 days later. I onboarded 4 of his properties, and he came to our happy hour again last night. We've been working together and everything, but today I onboarded 7 of his properties. So, man, you never know who you're going to meet at these real estate events. Yeah. Because I've now got 11 of his properties under management, and just a dude I met drinking a beer.
That's what I'm saying. It's the best part about real estate is the people.
I'm actually so upset. Me and Max were supposed to be going up to Michigan next week to go to like a lender conference. We got invited by one of our lenders to go up there. Long story short, both of us aren't going anymore, and I got called for jury duty.
Really?
I have to do jury duty next week.
What's the case? Did they tell you?
They don't tell you beforehand. And they just tell you one date, too. They don't tell you this trial might be 2 days. It could be 3. They don't tell you.
Yeah.
So I will find out next week if I can work.
That sounds fun, though, dude. Yeah. That sounds like a lot of fun.
I could so get out of it, but I'm excited to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not excited for the potential work that I'm going to be. I'm supposed to be hiring somebody next week, and I have to go to jury duty. Like that doesn't fit.
Yeah, for sure.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. I don't know what the Lebanon court is. I guess the Boone County court is going to have in store for us, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And I even turned my paperwork in late, and they still selected me. I was so hopeful. I didn't get a message after I sent in the request for jury duty. Like, they didn't send received, or they didn't send received or anything. So it was perfect. Like, the deadline closed. They already picked out the candidates. I'm not one of them.
Yeah. It's
been probably 2 months since I sent that thing in, and last week I got jury duty in 2 weeks. Yeah. Better be there. Hopefully it's a fun case, man. If it's fucking parking tickets, get me out of there.
It's not gonna be parking tickets, but hopefully it's not hopefully it's not reckless driving or something stupid like that.
It's in Boone County, and we got Lebanon, so who knows? Yeah, it could be crazy.
Be anything.
It could be crazy. Yeah, I hope it's like a underground gambling ring with a hint of homicides. I hope not. I hope not. you from Brownsburg originally?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I told you I injured Bryce Kurtz. I remember when we talked
did
about
tell
that.
me that. Yeah. You did tell me.
I don't know anything.
I'm gonna send this to Bryce. I don't think he probably doesn't even remember me, but
Bryce,
send it to him.
if you remember me at all,
Surely he remembers you.
It would have been your junior year. You broke my ankles in the backfield, and then I caught up to you and tackled you on about the 2-yard line, and then you went out of the game with a torn ACL. I can't confirm that it was me that did that, but I got a pretty strong inkling that I tore your ACL, man. So sorry about that, but
Yeah, he says sorry. He does not feel bad about that in the slightest.
Man, I'm not like a big bad dude. I got it a lot when I played football. People were like, "You play football?" Like, I'm a linebacker. I go sack people. But you're so nice. Like, you saw me inside those lines. I was a fucking monster.
Yeah.
I injured a lot of people. I played linebacker, man. So my job is to be a hitman on the field. It's what happened.
Yeah.
And don't let your kids play football. That's what I'm saying. My brain hurts. My brain hurts. All the time.
Yeah.
But I got calculators that help me out, and I still got the communication piece, so it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I think I got 4 concussions playing football as a kid.
There's no way I had less than I think I had 6 diagnosed. And
yeah. That's not good, by the way.
No.
At all.
No, I was.
You got CTE, brother.
No, 100%. 100%. I'm gonna have CTE.
I sincerely hope not, because that is an ugly disease.
No. I anticipate it 100%. I'm probably gonna get dementia and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
It was my sophomore year of high school, my first varsity game. I didn't start, but it was against Lebanon, actually. It was against Lebanon. We were kicking their butt, so they let me and my friend, who were the young sophomore guys on the team, and we started every single snap after that year. But, man, he was the strong side linebacker. I was the weak side linebacker, and the quarterback ran a quarterback draw. So we had to drop back in coverage a little bit, and then, the quarterback's running, and we're the 2 linebackers that have to vice on him. So we're both coming at him, running full speed from different sides of the field. He got there probably a half second after me, and I ended up being the one that got hit. So there's a picture, I think it's still on my Instagram, picture of my teammate's helmet going right into my ear, and my head is all the way over here. But after that, I was in Spanish 3. I went to Spanish the next week. I couldn't talk to my teacher. We were doing I don't know if you took a foreign language in high school.
Yeah.
When you had to do those
Spanish,
long presentations.
Yeah.
It was like that week. I had already done one, and I was successful at it. And then put the concussion in there, and supposed to do another one. I didn't know Spanish.
Gibberish, yeah.
I didn't know Spanish. My teacher was mad at me. She kicked me out of the classroom. I was like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But ever since then, I can't do foreign languages. I don't have the patience for my brain to relearn how to do it. So I did sign language in college because my brain can process it a little bit more, but I still forget all of that too. So yeah, don't get concussions. They're not good for you.
Yeah.
They're not good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, parents, do your kids a favor. Take a look at yourselves. Take a look at your genes. What do you think your kid's going to end up having? And then decide what sport to put them in.
Yep.
If they look like me, do not put them in football, for the love of God.
I just don't think anybody should play football. I really, not to be
just watch it.
Yeah, but then somebody's still
Fun
playing
sport
it.
to watch.
Somebody's still.
I know, but let them play it, not you. You don't have to play it. Just let them play it.
Yeah, I can tell you, my kids will not be playing football. The closest they're gonna get to that is jiu-jitsu or wrestling.
Put them in hockey.
I think that's any better.
Hockey is the most fun sport I've ever played in my life.
Those dudes get just the same amount of concussions as football players, if not more, because their helmets are like paper.
I mean, sure.
My kids will be playing soccer and jiu-jitsu or rock climbing. Those are the only...
Rock climbing?
Oh, yeah. I get to take my kid on a
I
rock
just don't
climbing trip
understand
for
that
school
sport.
instead.
I don't understand that.
That's so fun. Well, do you go hiking? Do you go out to the mountains?
No, not really.
It doesn't make sense. But if I'm going hiking...
That's different than rock climbing.
No, but
surely.
It's damn cool when I can go rock climbing mid-hike.
Sure.
There's one, we did Bora Peak. It's the highest point in Idaho. It's very, very, very scary hike. There's a section of it where there's an ice bridge that's probably 6 inches wide and you have to crawl across it. I fell on it and fell onto all fours. That was terrifying. But then just after that, you can either continue to take the trail, which is just following the ridge, Or there's a rock face that you can climb up. So I climbed up the rock face. I had lunch off the side of the mountain, just on like I was sitting on like a little rock and just ate lunch there and continued to hike up the mountain. It's like, I couldn't do that if I didn't have rock climbing experience. Like, I could have died easy. I could have died so easy.
Yeah.
But it was the most free. That's why I rock climb. It's the feeling of that freeness on a mountain. It's unbeatable.
Yeah.
And you're usually tied in, but I wasn't tied in climbing up the mountain.
So yeah, instead of the feeling of freedom for me, I'd just be like, I'm going to die. And I'd freak out.
Yeah, that happens too. That happens. I want to get more like on like real mountains. It's been a minute since I've done that. Me and my friends, we call ourselves high pointers. So we go to the highest point in every state. I don't have that many. I have New Mexico, Colorado, Idaho, Kansas, which is it's called Sunflower Mountain, just off the highway. Indiana, Ohio. I went to North Carolina as well. I was there. That was a really fun climb, actually. It's all the high point. My friends are like all of them. He's got almost all 50 high pointers now.
That's awesome.
It's like a little Facebook group he's in. They give badges out. Well, I'm not up
That's
there yet.
actually really cool.
What do you do, man? What's your free time?
I play hockey.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, I actually do. I just started doing that, though, this winter. In the past, I've played golf a lot.
Okay.
Since I started working at Back Nine a couple years ago. I've been a big golfer. But I just picked up hockey this winter, and I've been loving it. It's great.
Where do you do hockey at?
On the south side. It's called Perry Park.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, it's a blast.
I can't ice skate to save my life.
Play with a bunch of 40-year-olds, and they kick my ass every single week, and it's the greatest thing ever. I love it.
Yeah, and it's not like a hobby that you hear people many people take up.
Yeah.
I remember I used to take my nephew to hockey practice. He didn't stay in that long. Skating's hard. I can ski, but if you put me on like those little tiny I've got like the natural like anterior rotation in my hips, so they point out. It doesn't work on skates. It'll be okay skiing, but like my hips are always like this on ice skates. I fall or my hips just hurt the whole time.
Well, so I didn't know this, but from my understanding now, the way the blade is shaped is it's like a U, right? Or sorry, it's like an N. So there are two edges.
Yeah.
There's two edges, and there's your inside edge and your outside edge, and you're always on one of those, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like, from my experience, like learning how to be comfortable on your outside edge is really difficult. So like doing crossovers or like, doing like a hockey stop where you use both skates and you're on your outside edge on one and your inside edge on the other is like really difficult. So once you like get comfortable on your edges, it becomes a lot easier.
Yeah, I didn't even really know that there were two edges. I have heard that before, but I've never thought about that in my life.
And there's like you can cut them to different like rigidity. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, you can cut them different ways to where like it makes it easier to stop, or it makes it easier to turn, or makes it harder to do certain things or whatever. But I don't know, that's all above my head.
Let's talk about one more real estate topic before I let you out of here.
Okay.
You're in real estate. You're a new guy in the game. I wanted to ask you. Well, I talk to people a lot about like their second thing in real estate. So first part of the question is: do you see yourself developing like a second side of real estate, like being a property manager?
100%.
Okay. So what do you think that is?
It'll 100% be flipping houses.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll be an agent and an investor.
Yes.
That'll be your two things.
I see rentals as just, I don't see that as like a side gig. That's just like a thing that I do. It's just like, I don't know. It's just simple. Like you buy a rental, you put a tenant in it. It's not that crazy. But aside from being a broker, the next part of the business that I want to like solidify into what I do is flipping houses. Yeah.
Okay. So where do you see yourself in 5-10 years? How's the real estate empire going to grow? Where do you want it to be? And what's your why?
Yeah. I don't think I really have an idea of what I'm expecting it to be, or even have like a goal that I want to achieve anymore. It used to be like I want to have 10 doors, I'm sure at some point I wanted 30 or 40. At this point, the why for me and literally the only thing I care about is being financially free and not having to do anything for money ever again. Yeah. So I think once I get to a point where I have enough reserves, I have enough rentals to be able to cover my daily expenses, I have a primary that I enjoy being in, a nice car, and a girlfriend, and other things and hobbies that make me happy, I think I'll be good at that point. So that's definitely my why.
Have you ever thought about what the number is that means you're financially free?
No, I haven't. And that's a good question. Because I'm sure that number just continues to go up for people as they start making more money.
Well, with inflation and everything too.
Well, yeah, but also like a mindset thing, right? Like I feel like some people say like I just want to be financially free, but then they start seeing millions and they're like, oh, I want to make 10 now, or no, now I want to make 100, and it just never stops.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Just thinking about Tyler the other day, because he's not much older than us, but he's older and he's got investments under him, and he's got a piece of that. And I wouldn't say he's like 100% financially free yet, but he's getting there. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, what do I want to do when I'm in his shoes? Do I want to keep grinding, or do I want to be on the beach? Like, it's probably going to be the grinding aspect of it. But I put a number together. It was like an exercise I was doing in grad school. It's $3 million. Once I have $3 million in the bank account, or not in the bank account, in my investment account, if I'm earning the most average return of 4% a year, I'm making $120,000 a year. So $3 million was my number.
Yeah, but why would you take it out of real estate and put it into?
I would just say investment. It doesn't have to be like stocks, but I'm saying like the most average return on like my investment portfolio would be 4%. So if I had a $3 million portfolio, whether it be in stocks, real estate, GNCs, or
Understood.
Fat Dan's, $120,000 a year in residual is what I want. That's my number.
Okay,
but I'm sure it's gonna go up, like you said. But that's like when I hit the first level. That's when I hit the first level of financial freedom, in my opinion. That's a pretty high level. Getting $120K passively off of your investment, that's pretty high.
Yeah.
But that's like the mark for me. That's my goal. That's my incentive.
Yeah, no, I love that. I haven't thought about that number. I probably should, because that's important. But
it's not all that important. But it is nice to just like have understanding of where the target's supposed to be.
For sure. Before we end, I just want to say one thing that I was thinking about, like on the car ride here, actually, was like I used to look at real estate investment and entrepreneurship and business as just like a way to make a whole lot of money, which it is a good way to do that. But what I've already learned over the couple years that I've been doing it is that if you don't set aside time to actually like do things that make you truly happy and that, like are fulfilling for you, none of it means anything. So if you're just waking up at 6 a.m. and grinding for 10 hours a day, I don't care if you're making $20 million a year, $100 million a year. For me, it just wouldn't be worth it. Yeah. So setting limits for myself, I think, is probably going to be really important too, because from what I've seen, it's very easy to start making money and get into the mindset that all you need to do is make more. And I don't think that that's actually the solution that anybody's looking for, really.
Yeah, I'm on that wave pretty frequently, I gotta be honest, because I'll have a week where I'm grinding it out and it paid off and I made money, and then I'll have a week where I'm grinding it out and I don't make anything. It's like, well, should I grind a little bit less so like this gap isn't as large? And still haven't found the balance, man. Still haven't found it. It's just you reiterate every week, every day even, man, is interesting. Yeah. In real estate, you don't know what's gonna come up that day. You never do. But
it's a fun part about it, though.
Yeah, it is. It is. Time management. Time management. All right, we'll get you out of here, but before you do that, you got to answer a couple questions. First one is 3 spots in or around Indianapolis that are worth a visit. It can be a restaurant, a store, a park. It could even be an intersection.
Okay, that's a good question. I think the garage, and this once again, it's such a cliche answer, but the garage is just a must. You've got to go to the garage and get some food.
Some chicken fries yesterday.
Yeah, great spot. That's an absolute must. As far as like entertainment goes, or like a bar maybe, I'm a huge fan of Burn downtown by Rocky Patel. Yeah, great cigar bar. Love Burn. The Exchange Whiskey Bar is also unbelievable. Love that place. Really small spot. That one's Mass Ave, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Right? Is it?
I bet it is.
Yeah. But anyways, the Exchange Whiskey Bar, great spot. Very chill. Nice like couch seating. Feels really small and fun. So yeah, those are 2 great bars to go to. One more spot.
You already said 3 spots.
Did I? Oh, yeah, 2 bars, yeah. One more. I was actually just here a couple days ago after the Pacer game. Commission Row. It's a Cunningham restaurant that's like damn near attached to the field house.
Okay.
Great restaurant. Loved it. It was great. But one thing I learned, Wagyu beef is the same thing as whatever the hell you buy at Meijer.
Real Wagyu isn't, but the way that they've advertised it, yes.
Yeah. Whatever I had tasted like ground beef. I just want to say that.
Yeah, I've gone into that before. It's interesting.
Yeah, but anyways, Commission Row is a great restaurant.
All right, next up, I think I know the answer, but if we were to find you in your natural habitat, where would that be?
Either on the ice rink, dangling and playing some hockey, having hat tricks out there, or honestly, probably just on my couch watching The Big Short or Margin Call.
Those are quality movies.
Quality movies. I'm a huge movie guy.
Last one before you get out of here. If people were to take anything away from our conversation today, what should it be?
Do what makes you happy, 100%, and don't listen to what anybody else has to say about it. Do what makes you happy. And number 2, if you're thinking about getting into real estate, do it and find a way to do it, and don't allow there to be any roadblock. Meet people, find a mentor. I think a lot of the success that I've had in real estate is absolutely because of the people that I've surrounded myself with. So if you're looking to get into the business, make the decision. Tell yourself that the decision that you made is the one that's the one that's going to happen, and there's nothing that's going to get in the way. And then surround yourself with people who you want to be like, and you'll be very successful.
I love it, man. Just to refine that a little bit, there are going to be roadblocks.
100%.
Don't let them stop you.
Don't let them stop you, no matter what they are. Yeah, absolutely.
And every time you learned how to get around one of those, you just learned a new skill. So be willing to and appreciate the roadblocks when they come up.
Yeah.
They're going to be worth it. You're going to learn from them. They're going to pay for themselves.
For sure.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was a ton of fun. Got to do this again. I love this. I've always wanted to do it.
Whenever you want, man. Whenever
Cool.
you want. Peace.
See ya.